Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Arcane Assist. I'm Tim, and I'm joined today by Evan.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We are playing something kind of cool today for the Arcane Assist Battle Report series. I brought Kaya3, who was released on Wednesday. I painted her on Wednesday afternoon, played 9 games with her, and here we are Friday morning playing my 10th game with her.
9?
9 games.
What? I thought this was like the third one.
It is not. I played a few Kaya3 games, so I'm starting to get a feel for her. Really, I've built maybe 5 or 6 different lists, and here's one of them that I wanted to share with you guys.
Wow.
And in the theme of new and new to you, what are you playing today, Evan?
I'm playing Morghoul2, who has had some significant changes with the errata last month.
Yeah, I'm very excited about him now.
And I've been itching to play him for a while now. This is only the second game I'll have with him, unlike this being the 10th that Tim gets to play with Kaya.
I play a lot of games. Spoiler alert. I've played a lot of games.
Clearly.
Yeah, I believe since last Lock and Load, because I'm counting down to try to finish 300 games from Lock and Load to Lock and Load, I've played 202 games in Mark III.
Well, I'm behind you by, I think, like 25. So.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, yeah, playing games is the way to get good at this game. Like,
spoiler
you
alert.
heard it here first. Like, yeah. It's funny because a lot of people are like, how do I get really good at War Machine? And I'm like, you play a lot of War Machine. And they're like, well, I've got like one night a week to play a game. How else? And I'm like, Anyway,
right.
Yeah, we've got some pretty cool lists. I'll run mine through.
You're up first,
pretty quickly.
so you go first.
I've got Lanyssa Ryssyl in this list. She should probably be a Black-clad Wayfarer. I've played both. They've got different uses. The Legion, Anti-Legion is maybe a thing that I could see Kaya being able to play into, but there's a lot of things in her toolbox the Legion gets to kind of ignore. I actually like her into Legion, so it's of dubious merit. Definitely playing into Skorne. Lanyssa would be better off as a Black-clad Wayfarer. My Black-clad Wayfarer is on my painting table. So Lanyssa Ryssyl, a unit of Shifting Stones, and then I have a Druid Wilder. The Druid Wilder is about extending the size of my kind of battle group bubble, because Kaya's a 12 and I want to keep a lot of things in it. The rest of the models are battle group. I have 2 Warpwolf Stalkers, 2 Pureblood Warpwolves. I have 1 Gorax Rager, and then I have a Gnarlhorn Satyr.
All right. Well, on my side of the table, we have Lord Assassin Morghoul, who's changed quite a bit. I'll go over those changes once I've gone through the rundown. We have 2 Archidons, also changed quite a bit. An Agonizer, a Titan Gladiator, and Molik Karn as the battle group. 2 minimum units of Paingiver Beast Handlers as per usual. And then 2 maybe different additions to a list are Incindiarii and Arcuarii, or however you say that. And those are in the list just because I think Morghoul is really good with guns. Now, these might not be the first guns that come to your mind when you think Skorne and guns, because we just got a tier list alongside the errata that has Reavers in it galore, but...
Venerators, right? Yeah.
Venerators.
Yeah, it's Venerators.
Also slingers. However, I don't own most of those models, and I think most Skorne players probably don't at this point in time. Maybe they bought them in the last month. Who knows? But I do, however, have Cataphract. So Morghoul, he changed. What changed? He gained a Fury. So he's Fury 6 as opposed to 5, which is huge because of what his feat does. He is also gained Elite Cadre Blood Runners, which gives them parry. Irrelevant in this list. And his spell list changed. So he lost Ghost Walk and gained Mortality. And since he went up a Fury, he gained another spell slot, essentially, on his list, which he gained a new signature spell called Shadowplay, which reads, target friendly faction model gains Incorporeal this turn. During your control phase, the affected model gains Incorporeal for 1 turn.
So it's an upkeep spell.
It is an upkeep spell.
But it's a weird upkeep spell in that it's also kind of like a target model version of Ghostwalk.
Yeah, instead of Ghostly, though, it gives Incorporeal.
Yeah, which is sometimes better and sometimes worse.
Yeah. So the cool thing about this is that you can cast it on a model, they become incorporeal for the turn, and if you switch it off of them, they're still incorporeal.
And it I mean, it only lasting for a turn is kind of a bad thing in one respect, in that they don't have it defensively, but also they can make free strikes and they block lines, and they're like a not ghost on the following turn.
Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
The other big change that I'm not sure has been on the channel yet are Archidons. These things are ridiculous now. So they're only 10 points. They have Long Leash. Suck it, Scarsfells.
Yeah.
They gained a point of strength.
Yep.
And
immunity to electricity.
They're immune to electricity now.
Yep.
Because a fluffy rule, because they're from a land that is constantly being struck by lightning.
Also, suck it, Storm Division.
Yeah, also suck it, Storm Division. And they're 10 points.
You already said that one.
They're 10 points. Like, come on.
They have crit pitch. They have
These
flight.
things
They're fantastic.
Are amazing.
Yeah, they've been making their way into a lot of Skorne lists, and I like them quite a bit.
Especially mine.
Without further ado, I think we'll chat about some more changes when we're actually in the report. But let's jump right into it. All right, so Kaya turn 1. So I'm going to do a cute thing here. Kaya has Field Marshal Reposition 3. So the Gnarlhorn advanced its 5 inches, cast Earth's Blessing, repoed 3 inches, staying in the stone bubble, and in a sec it's going to get ported up. So it's that way up there front scary looking beast. And it kind of got to run 16 instead of running 10, which I thought was cool. Stalker warps Prowl and runs. He is not completely within that forest, Tim. He's not going to benefit from Prowl. Or is he? Purebloods warp Spell Ward and run onto the hill. Kaya's a very, very interesting caster. I find her technical and I find her really deep. She's got some apparent, the term the kids used to use was Skornergy, where she wants to have Fog of War up to protect her pieces, but then she also wants to have Synergy up, and they're both self spells. Really what that means is you just kind of have to pick your poison and choose the most effective defensive tool or offensive tool given the conditions, and I hope to demonstrate that well in this match. As you can see, the Gnarlhorn way up front there with Earth's Blessing did that whole 16-inch leapy-doo. I run a Stalker who also warps Prowl up into the zone. So I've got Purebloods on the left, Stalkers on the right, Jokers to the left of me, something like that. Kaya, she's only speed 7, which a lot of people were a bit critical of initially. I mean, Laris is speed 7. Kaya's previous versions have been speed 7, but I guess people are like, she's Cav now. She should be faster. But I actually really like her. She does feel faster. For one thing, the other spell she has, and this is huge, is Soothing Song. So all of those beasts ran, and I didn't even care, and then I got to remove a Fury from all of them. So she's quite efficient, which is why I ended up riling the Stalker and the Gorax. So she cast Fog of War, cast Soothing Song, and then repositioned 3 inches forward. So I think it's fair to say being fairly aggressive with my placement this turn. How are you feeling about this, Evan? What does the list look like from an opponent's perspective?
I'm a little scared. Mostly of the Purebloods, because the assaulting 19-inch sprays that, well, or even just walking and spraying 10 for 16 inches and then repoing away is really scary.
Yeah.
That being said, if they spray either Archidon or Molik Karn, that means they're in my threat range with Rush.
That's true, yes.
Because 13, so 10 for the spray, and then their repo 3 away is 13. Molik Karn is speed 6. With Rush and Reach, they can threat 13. Who'd have thunk it? So I'm kind of just trying to keep it so that with my Cataphract, you can only take 1 or 2 with a spray, and also you're using your spray on Cataphracts as opposed to the things I actually care about.
Yeah, I mean, the Cataphracts are kind of scary. They can't drag my heavies in, but they're Weapon Masters on their guns now.
Yeah.
So POW 12, Rat 6 Weapon Masters are pretty nasty.
So Cataphracts also changed in the errata, as did most things. So Cataphracts now across the board have tough built in, and the Arcuarii specifically lost CRA but now have Weapon Master on their guns, which is real good.
Yeah, it's really nice. And the Incindiarii, who you've got on the bottom, they went up to POW 13 on their guns.
Yes.
Which I think is actually even more... They still have CRA, but it's even more relevant in some ways because they now have POW 7 blast damage.
Yep.
Which is really good.
Yep. So Archidon runs up, just staying out of counterslam range. In this particular situation, I feel like in order to bring him in far enough for me to actually kill heavies, I have to give him something. So I put an Archidon up. I don't care if it dies. It's only 10 points, as I said before. And I put the other one behind the water, so he has to work for it. Because he'll have to put a Stalker in, because that's the only thing with Natural Pathfinder. Sure, he can Ghostly a Pureblood, but then he's throwing away a Pureblood. And I feel like that's more important to him than a Stalker.
Yeah, Stalkers are actually 19 points versus a Pureblood 17 points, but Stalkers are, I guess, a little bit more disposable in some respects. The Purebloods, they have that gun that gets so much work done, and they've got really, really great late games, so I do tend to try to protect them a little bit.
And up behind here, the Beast Handler Brigade does his thing, and it's off to your turn. So what's your plan going into your turn 2?
I upkeep Fog of War for free, because I've got a Wilder, so I don't need to worry about it. But I'm probably going to cycle a Synergy this turn. It's no longer a turn where I mean, there's a lot of things to worry about. I'm almost certain you're going to feat next turn. On the assumption that you do feat next turn, I need to probably feat defensively to make it at least cost you a little bit more, or to force out the feat so you're not holding it back to assassinate Kaya. So my goal this turn is to position myself aggressively, take a couple of things, stack up Synergy, use the Gnarlhorn to kill the Archidon that's directly in front of it, and then use the Stalker to kill the other Archidon, maybe after I soften it up with a couple of shots. Like, that's the thought here. If I get some shots into Molik Karn that do some damage, that would be nice too. So Kaya walks her 7, position so that she can repo into the zone, pops her feet, drops Fog of War by casting Synergy, so she moved over to Synergy. I was pretty sure that was the plan, and the feat kind of gives me that defense that I was getting out of Fog of War anyway. She puts Earth's Blessing up on herself, which is the Gnarlhorn's Animus, gives her immunity to knockdown. I'm camping 3. This is a bit of a gambit. I'm going to spend a lot on my beasts, and I'm not going to be in a position to remove a lot of that fury. So I have to be able to reave a lot, but on the other hand, I've got a more fury management in this list than it looks like it has. So she's pretty happy on that. She's on 3, feats up, Synergy's up. So now it's time to do work with the army. I double-check a couple things. As I say, 10 games into a list, I don't feel like I have every element of it memorized. So it's always good to confirm things that you're not 100% sure of. My initial plan here was to do sprays and Arcuarii, which meant I had to move the Wilder over so that I could use herding to have the Purebloods be out of control. But I changed my plan, and that's a bit of a mistake because that Wilder could have removed a Fury from each of the Purebloods and made my Fury management a little easier next turn. But instead, she kind of just does nothing this turn. So mistakes were made. That's okay. These are little things you learn about the list as you go through it. I make 2 boosted to hit sprays on Molik Karn and the Archidon. And they both hit, and I boost damage on both of them. So first on Molik Karn, I do a pretty reasonable amount of damage. And I spike quite nicely on the Archidon.
The Archidon takes something along the lines of like 11 or 14 or
yeah,
something.
it's dice -2, and I think he took 11 damage from that attack.
It hurt a lot.
Which is nice. That's a good solid spike. That's what I need to start this chain off. The other Pureblood, that worked pretty well. Let's do it again. So you don't intuition with Molik Karn here. Is that just a Fury management issue?
It's a Fury management issue.
Boosted 8s too, right?
Yeah. It's pretty likely to happen anyway. And I know he's not going to die to these.
Right.
So I can at least next turn I have 4 Beast Handlers if needed that can get in medication range to fix him up. And then even if he's going in next turn, which if he lives, he is.
Yep.
Because both of those Purebloods are within
They're in
threat
13-inch threat range. There's nothing I can do about that. I need to be within 10 to spray, and I can only repo 3. So the Purebloods are both on 4. They're both in range of the feats. They're def 16 on the hill. They're 18 against those guns. Like, they've got some tools to be a little bit harder to pick off. And then the stones port up so that they're in range to Serenity off of Fury. And the Gorax moves up into the stones, so he's prepared for next turn. So the Stalker charges. Stalker's in range to get a charge out, and this is important because I need the Stalker to stack Synergy for me. And he's going to warp for Berserk, and I'm hoping he can take out 2 of these guys. So he hits his charge attack, does quite reasonable damage. Evan Tufts. I buy an attack, kill him, berserk attack on the next guy. That unfortunately misses. So I buy an attack. This may be a bit of an overcommitment. Or no, sorry. I choose not to buy an attack so that I don't overcommit. And then I get to cast Sprint and get back into the zone. It's worth pointing out at this moment that Sprint and Reposition have the same timestamp. They both have an end of the activation timestamp. So that means that you have to choose whether or not you're going to Sprint or Reposition 3. Stalkers don't have the opportunity to do both. So, I mean, I'm happy with that choice. Like, I think being 3 inches further back is worth the investment of a Fury, but it is, again, a choice. And this list is kind of about those choices, which, as I say, makes it a really rewarding list to play because it is fairly high skill cap. So we identify that the Stalker is not in a position to charge that Archidon without Hunter's Mark. So this part's a little bit dicey. I move Lanyssa up, and my intent with her is to try to get off Hunter's Mark. I need a 7. I roll a 6 and a 1. I get the 7. So 50% of the time works every time.
So I feel like it's worth noting that the further back Archidon to the top, the yellow screen one has 5 boxes left at this point.
Yeah. That's
the issue is 5.
Maybe I should have ice caged him. Like, that might have been cute.
Try to get the stationary.
Well,
or just...
I mean, maybe the stationary, but maybe just kill it. Like, dice -4. I mean, I need to roll a 9, a 7, and then a 9. I mean, it's not particularly likely, but it's a gun that I don't otherwise have access to another gun.
Yeah, that could be
and like
interesting.
I can do it. I guess if I do it, though, then the Stalker can't charge it, and then you heal it, and it's fine again.
The issue is if it's on the table, I heal it for basically free with Beast Handlers.
Yeah.
And then it just kills a thing.
Yeah.
Because blind lets that happen when Warpwolves are the enemy model that you have to kill.
Yeah, it's a bit it is what it is. I have to kill it. I charge in. Unsurprisingly, I kill it. I cast Sprint, and I debate a couple of options about where I want to go, like if I want to go forward or if I want to come back. Initially, I sort of repo forward thinking about what I can threaten, but I decide that he can probably just kill me with the Gladiator if I go into his threat range, so I'm at least going to make him spend the resources necessary to extend those threat ranges the way that he needs to. Gnarlhorn goes in, charges. I debate slamming him into the wall because the Gnarlhorn does have follow-up, and then I get like a Weapon Master attack on the slam, but instead I decide it's the charge is fine. I charge in, gives me my 3 initials. Synergy's giving them all +3/+3 right now, so it should be fine.
And it's worth noting that normally you'd do that because I also get knocked down. However, Archidons are serpentine, so they can't be knocked
down. Sorry, I said +3/+3. It's +2/+2 for synergy. I've hit with 2 Stalkers with melee attacks, and that's how synergy adds up. But still, the Gnarlhorn going from mat 6 to mat 8, and now instead of having a 15 and 2 14s, he has a 17 and 2 16s. So, like, that's enough to certainly take out an Archidon. And that was, after all, the plan here. So the Gnarlhorn repositions back 3 inches. He's on 1. It's right up in the middle of the board, ready to get killed, presumably.
So, I upkeep Shadow Play on Molik Karn. I have 5 Fury left on Morghoul. He apparates this time, which I forgot to do last turn.
Sometimes, interesting. I wondered if you'd forgotten to apparate, or if you were kind of not apparating so that you'd let me forget about it. I've seen that play in Mark II with Butcher 3. I think it was Will Pagani who said, you don't use Madeline Corbeau unless it wins you the game. Just period, end of sentence. Because as long as you're not using her, your opponents are going to forget about her. And I was like,
interesting.
Okay, that's some relevant tech. So I thought maybe you're not apparating because you're like, what's Morghoul's speed? Oh, it's 7? Okay, well, you can charge, and you've got 1-inch melee? Okay, cool, I'll stay out of 11. And then you're like, cool, teleport 2 inches? And I'm like, But if it's pure forgetfulness, that's cool too.
Yeah, I remembered this turn.
Cool.
So 3 Beast Handlers go up, medicate Molik Karn, and then the last one enrages him. He heals for 5, so he's on 24 boxes now after the double spray. Yep. Hurt him a bunch. So basically I'm debating what has to go where and how it's going to work for the rest of this turn.
You're feeding for sure, right?
I'm definitely feeding, which means Morghoul has to go first. But I also have to figure out, as I push the table forward, I also have to figure out what the order of that happening is going to be, and who exactly Morghoul is going to mortality this turn. Because it's like, is he going to charge the Gnarlhorn, mortality it after he feats and blinds it, and then kill it himself?
Yeah.
Because if I do that, I've lost both Archidons, so I can't cast Lightning Strike, so I can't sprint, which is sad. So instead I'd have to Fate Walker, which means costs 2 instead of 1, and I don't have Fury after I mortality there, because I'm just sitting on 0 because I have 5 Fury left. So I decide that I can't kill the Gnarlhorn.
Okay.
So the plan becomes, instead, I'm going to make it so that the Arcuarii have a chance of killing that Stalker with a combination of blind and mortality.
That's a pretty good chance, I think.
And that I still get a repo away with Fate Walker on Morghoul, because I don't care about the free strike from the Gnarlhorn, because he's going to need a
He's Matt 2.
12 to hit.
You're def 16?
Yeah, it's not great. So I get into a position where I can see everything relevant, because the feat does require line of sight. And I blind the entire battle group and Lanyssa and some stones, but it's completely irrelevant on stones because it doesn't prevent them from doing anything.
Hey, man, they're def 7 stones right now. You drop them down to def 3 stones. I had to be relevant the other day that a knockdown model got +2 defense on Kaya's feat turn.
That's interesting.
By the other day, I mean yesterday. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. So that happened. I'm debating boosting the mortality. I don't, because Warpwolf still def 12 when they're blinded under Kaya's feat.
Yep, because the feat's giving +2 defense. So it's...
I needed a 6 instead of a 4. I raw dogged it. Maybe. Oh, I'm still stabbing the Gnarlhorn at this point. I kind of creamed it with the first damage roll.
Yeah.
And the second one just doesn't do...
It's dice minus 10 on the fan.
Yeah.
But you're a weapon master charge on your POW 13 knife, so like dice minus 5, you just like crushed it.
And mortality goes on the Stalker.
Yeah, and you cast that because you spent 3 on that, 2 on Fate Walker, and you upkept the spell.
Yep. So I'm camping nothing, which is pretty safe, I'd say.
Boxcars to hit. I miss. Yeah, so it's literally boxcars because on a free strike you get +2 to hit, which means I'm now Matt 4, and you're def 16.
Yep. So the Incindiarii going. After I moved the unit, I was like, wait, could that front guy have gotten in the zone? And it's too late now. So should have checked that.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was he just out or did they run turn 1?
They did.
So they deployed at 10. They ran. So that's what, 15, 25? 25 should get you in, right?
Well, I didn't move in the zone because I made a mistake.
But I mean, did you run 10 on turn 1?
They kind of went on angles just to avoid that rubble.
Well, and the other thing about that guy is he was very, very strategically positioned next to that wall because he couldn't get charged by a Stalker to stack synergy.
There you go.
So, yeah, maybe he couldn't have gotten in. We'll assume he couldn't have gotten in.
2 CRA. There's 2 2-man CRAs on the Gnarlhorn. They do some damage, and one guy just picks off Lanyssa because screw her.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just I don't want her to be a thing.
It's probably worth coming up for. I was dubious about that particular move. It kills an Archidon, and I have to kill the Archidon, I think is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now the Arcuarii are going. 5 of them get in range to shoot the Stalker.
So they're dice minus 3 because they go down to 15 with mortality.
Yep.
And they're weapon masters.
Yep.
So on 3 dice, you roll an 11 or a 10. Let's say 10. Minus 3 is 7. They do 7 times 4 is what, 20?
7, 14, 28.
And I have 28 boxes.
Okay.
So they should kill him.
Yeah, well, there you go.
On average dice, they kill him exactly to the box. And they kill him exactly to the box.
Exactly.
So you, sir, rolled perfect averages.
Works out.
Yep. 50% of the time. Works every time.
Yeah. So the issue now is I can't kill that Gnarlhorn unless I rush the Gladiator, but the Gladiator has to rush Molik Karn this turn, or else he can't get to the Purebloods. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to rush Molik Karn and just charge so that the Gladiator is in front of Morghoul so that Morghoul doesn't get punched by a goat.
Goat punch.
And, I don't think the goat can do a whole lot
Synergy's a thing, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
maybe I stack Synergy 3 times, throw Primal on him, and now he's Mat 11?
Yeah.
That seems like a problem.
That's a problem. So instead we put Gladiator in the way because don't want none of that.
Yep.
Also, did I knock out his spirit?
You may have knocked out his spirit. You did.
He wouldn't have been able to shake blind.
Yeah, he can't shake blind, so he's less intimidating.
Right.
But I mean, it's still probably good to have that Gladiator up in that lane.
Mm-hmm. Just in case.
Mm-hmm.
So now Molik Karn charges across the water because he has 2 different forms of Pathfinder, incorporeal.
He's incorporeal, so he
and
can go
rush.
through the water, and he has rush, so he has Pathfinder, and he can go over the water.
So needing 4s to hit Purebloods.
Yeah, because they're def 12 under blind, which is actually like pretty reasonable. But he's Mat 8 because he's Molik Karn.
And an enraged Molik Karn on his charge attack does 16 damage.
Because he got a point of POW in the errata.
He got a point of POW in the errata.
Yeah. So like he just trucks this Pureblood.
Yeah, 2 initials kill that Pureblood.
That's a spike. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then he does quite reasonable damage to this other Pureblood.
So what I want to do against any beast on my feat turn is cripple their spirit so that they can't shake blind, and I'm basically safe. That might as well be a dead heavy to me.
Yep, for sure.
Molik Karn here cripples everything but the spirit.
Yep, you cripple everything but the spirit.
It's unfortunate, but like
it's funny. You rolled the 6 every time.
I rolled column 6 every
time. And there's a little bit of awkwardness here. I think, with the 4 attacks, you would probably cure this Pureblood, or pardon me, kill this Pureblood, but you actually missed one of your attacks by 1 and had to feature sight.
Yep.
Yeah, because again, you needed 4s to hit.
4s to hit, rolled 3.
Yep.
Boost after rolling hit.
And I mean, like, that's a great ability that he has. Like, it saves you a ton of resources, but it also did cost you that.
Which, whatever. We still almost killed the Pureblood.
So I've got some cute things I'm going to do here, and it's probably worth attending to. So it's first threshold tests. So I get a threshold test on the Stalker who actually passes. I left the Stalker on 3 Fury, and I roll a 4, and he passes. The Pureblood over there I don't roll on because I Serenity the Fury off with the stone that's right next to him. Kaya3 the 3 from the Pureblood. The Gnarlhorn does Frenzy after fire went out on him because he was on fire from the shots from the Incindiarii. He charges. His body is out, but he does get 3 inches to get that charge.
Yep.
His mind is fine, and because the frenzy rules say you shake all effects and then charge, he does shake the blind, which I thought was a clever workaround. I'm actually really glad he frenzied. He does almost no damage, but critically, he gives me a stack of synergy.
Yep.
Which a lot of people maybe don't realize because you've never had synergy on a Hordes caster who can have Beast's Frenzy.
Yeah.
But the specific wording on synergy says, I'll just pull it up.
While you're looking for that, I just also want to mention that the Agonizer last turn did put up Gnawing Pain.
Yes, Evan's in the middle of finding the token for it.
Yep.
So synergy says, while in the spellcaster's control area, models in this model's battle group gain a +1 cumulative bonus on melee attack and melee damage rolls for each other model in the battle group that hit an enemy model with a melee attack this turn while in the spellcaster's control range. So I am a model in Kaya's battle group in her control range who hit a model with a melee attack this turn, which frenzying does satisfy the requirements for.
Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, it is. Because, I mean, Evan's goal, I think, was probably to limit the number of models I had available to...
Right. And with a crippled spirit, blinded Gnarlhorn.
It still contributed as much as I needed it to.
Mm-hmm.
No more. So we're just trying to make sure that I can repo Kaya after charging this guy just outside of the zone, such that she's outside of 13 of Morghoul, because I'm afraid of...
the Lord Assassin.
He's pretty assassiny.
He is.
Yeah, like more assassiny than you might think. So, yeah, Kaya's going to charge. She's a Cav model, so she gets 3 dice to hit. She's Mat 7, so she's already a stack of synergy. Before she charges, I spend 1 to cast Soothing Song, because the Gorax shook blind, and the Pureblood shook blind, and the Stalker was on 3, and it shook blind, so it goes down to 3 again. So, that's just crazy efficiency. And then her charge attack kills that guy. He dies, does not tough.
Synergy's at 2.
Synergy's at 2, which is pretty key here because I'm going to need those stacks of synergy to be relevant.
Synergy's at 2 after 1 activation.
Correct. Well, technically, Frenzying is his activation, so I guess we'll call it like technically correct, the best kind of correct. So Kaya is going to cast Blood Spiller, which is her new kind of signature spell. It's a range 10 POW 12. She hits that guy, and more importantly, she gives battle group models a free charge against that guy, which is going to matter because I'm trying to make sure that I get that Stalker into range to berserk that unit. So the Stalker charges for free, gets into range, so he's got his 1 inch on a couple of guys that maybe he wouldn't have otherwise have. Yep. He's on 3, but he charged for free. She also, sorry, I should make mention, the other thing Kaya did with her Fury is she healed that Stalker. Sorry, not that Stalker. She healed, nope, that's it. She's on 2. Yeah, she cast Blood Spiller, and that's it. That's what she did. No need to heal because he was not attacked.
Make the tough check on the leader.
Yeah, you make the tough check on the charge attack. So I make my second initial. I'm in the Agonizer range, so even though I've got 2 stacks of synergy, I'm just hitting at my base POW. I warped for Berserk, and then I killed that guy. He didn't tough. I Berserked. I killed the leader model. I rolled to hit. I killed that guy, and then you make a tough check on him.
No, I only
which fails. Like, you fail the tough check.
Sorry.
And then he passes a tough check, and I buy an attack to kill him. So the Stalker actually does pretty well, but I don't get to sprint, so I just repo back 3. That's fine. I just didn't have the Fury available to sprint. But he's still in a pretty relevant spot, potentially threatening, Morghoul or later peace trades, just kind of being there. I have no doubt that Evan can kill him, but my goal here is to put enough threatening things in his vicinity that he can't kill them all. That's my hope. So the Wilder activates, advances next to the Pureblood, and she medicates him. She medicates him for 1. The Stones, Healing Field, they heal him for 1. So now he's fully functional, but he's only healed 2 boxes. I walk back into control range.
2d3 heals 2?
2d3 heals 2. 2d3 heals 2. He makes an attack on Molik Karn. He's mat 9 now because of 3 stacks of synergy.
Needs 4s to hit.
He warped for strength and is base POW 14, so he goes to 19. So he's dice +1 against Molik Karn. So his first hit does really well. His second hit does reasonable damage, average damage. I buy my first attack, which also hits. And I believe that one actually finishes Molik Karn.
Yep. And then you force to regenerate.
Yep.
3d3 heals 3.
Healing 1. So he has healed 3 boxes and is still looking pretty roughed up. Initially I reposition closer, but I decide that I want to reposition back onto the hill. That way the Arcuarii guns don't just kill me. I'm at least defense 16 against them.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it just a little bit trickier to deal with me. The Gorax walks 5, repos 3. And that way I'm not dealing with a bigger Fury management issue than I was the previous turn.
So on my turn, I feel like I have an issue with how I have to deal with the pieces that Tim has presented with me. Or to me, rather.
Good. That was the goal.
Well, you succeeded. Because I have to somehow get something in his zone. I could run Beast Handlers, but that does not feel sufficient, to say the least. And I have to kill... I want that Stalker dead. So I can do either. Morghoul charges the Gnarlhorn, frees up the Gladiator. Gladiator charges the Stalker, and then Morghoul probably dies to a Pureblood the next turn, because there's a Pureblood in charge range. Unless the Arcuarii can kill the Stalker... Or Pureblood, yes. But the Pureblood needs... They need 10s to hit, because they're Rat 6 and he's on a hill, which is bad, to say the least. So I measure if the Gladiator can get to the Stalker. He can with Rush, because he needs to get over the wall. I also debate apparating Morghoul and then charging the Stalker with Morghoul.
Yeah.
But I feel like if I charge with Morghoul, I again don't have sprint. Now I don't even have Fate Walker, so I'm just in charge range of Kaya, which doesn't seem too okay.
No, maybe not. Maybe not. Does Morghoul have native Pathfinder?
He does.
Okay.
He has Pathfinder and Stealth.
Sweet. Yeah, he's got a lot of tools, man. He's really scary to play against.
Yeah, the only thing that he feels weird that he doesn't have, which is it's probably a good thing that he doesn't have, is he doesn't have any form of reposition or sprint, and he feels like a caster that really wants to go in, cast Mortality, and walk away, or go and kill a thing, walk away. So he needs Archidons for sprint or Molik Karn for Fate Walker, and those cost a significant tax for his Fury.
Those things seem really good, though. Like,
they're good with him anyway. Don't get me wrong.
Like, I mean, if you take Morghoul, you really have to take that extremely cheap 10-point beast that we belabored about how amazing it was, or you have to take the scariest heavy in the game. It's just
hashtag
Skorne problems.
So I charged the Pureblood with some Arcuarii. They both missed their attacks needing 7s. Morghoul charges the Gnarlhorn, just wrecks it. I Flashing Blade to blind it. I don't really think I needed to. Because now I'm like, wait, I have to cast Rush on the Gladiator and Mortality the Stalker. So I Raw Dog an 8 to Mortality the Stalker, which misses.
Yeah.
And now I have to spend the rest of my stack to Rush the Gladiator. I realize I could have cast Incorporeal and just charged through Morghoul, which would have probably been better.
Isn't that the same cost?
They're the same cost, but I feel like the Gladiator would have been in a better position if he had been Incorporeal.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. One thing that I wondered about doing after we resolved all of this is, what if instead of doing any of that, you boosted to hit that Mortality, and then the Gladiator rushed itself?
Yeah, that is a possibility.
Because then, like, 6s to hit instead of 8s mean you don't need to boost your 3 initials.
Okay. Yeah.
Which buys you 3 Fury. Like, maybe that's worth better than Rush. I don't know. Anyway, it was an interesting conversation to kind of workshop at the table a little bit. You do charge with the Gladiator at the Stalker.
Yep. So
this is an undamaged Stalker.
Yep. I boost to hit my charge attack. It hits. It's dice within rage. It's dice +1. Does 9 damage.
Are you at 18 or 19? 18, right?
Sorry, 18.
Yeah. So +1. Yeah.
+1. I miss both my other initials. Buy and boost to hit an attack. It hits. Doesn't do great damage.
Like another
miss
6.
my last initial.
Yeah. But your last bot attack, should I say?
Yes. Sorry. Bot
yeah.
attack.
Probably should have boosted the other 2 initials. Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
Agonizer walks up, gnawing pains. Beast handlers run to just kind of bubble wrap Morghoul as best as possible.
Jam a bit.
And I throw it back to you. Sorry, I feel like we didn't mention earlier. You scored on my second turn, and on your turn that turn, so you're at 2.
Yeah, I'm at 2 points right now.
So I had to get something in the zone. That thing is currently the Gladiator, and that's probably the thing I was most worried about this particular turn.
Yeah, just making sure I didn't go to 3 and then 4, and then like kill your objective to win. Like,
yeah, because that would be bad.
Because that Pureblood in the top zone, if it got healed a little bit, maybe got a couple stacks of synergy, it could probably warp Ghostly, walk around those guys and just go kill the objective.
Currently looking for the gnawing pain token that I dropped on the floor.
Yeah, it's been an experience.
Yep.
There's a little bit of some studio shuffling. You can see Evan, where's gnawing pain? I'm just placing a proxy base for where the Gorax is going to charge.
Just you do you, Tim. You do you.
Yep.
If you cheat, it's on camera, so I don't freaking care.
Plus, I have never intentionally cheated in a Game of War machine.
Well, I mean, I
have accidentally. Like, you sure make mistakes. So.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the internet will know.
That's true. That's the amount of attention we pay to our games. Hopefully, you pay more. So this is an instance of this forest that the Gorax probably has to clip is kind of awkward. So I'm just being really precise. The Gladiator was proxy based, so I just pulled him up so we could see the proxy base more clearly. I've got to go 2.5 inches through rough terrain on the vector that I need to charge at. So I move that, and then that gives me, it turns out, a fair bit of room. So the Gorax is in position to, with the movement he's got, and with a charge, get on the Gladiator doing that. He has to end in the Gladiator's front arc to clear the lane that I want to clear, but that's where he's going to contribute his synergy. And Kaya is going to maybe charge Morghoul? I'm debating whether or not that makes sense. Because if the Pureblood stacks a couple of points of synergy up, and he's in control right now, the Wilder's not, so I had to pay to upkeep synergy, so I'm on 5 right now. Pureblood gives a couple. So the Wilder comes up. The Wilder removes a Fury from the Pureblood, because she says that, living war beasts in my 3 inches, I'll remove a Fury, which it did. I was out of range to Serenity, but I did manage to pass my threshold test. He makes a couple of attacks, Warping Strength. He kills an Arcuarii member, and he kills the other Arcuarii member. So, I mean...
Regenerates 43, heals 4.
Yep, so that is the 4th time I have healed D3 on this Pureblood, and the 4th time he has healed 1. #value.
He's bad at the regenning thing.
He is. So the game plan this turn is Stalker kills Morghoul. That is what we're going to do.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So Gorax charges the Gladiator and casts Primal on the Stalker. Gorax is mat 6 because of synergy. Hits his charge attack. POW 13, so dice minus 6. Synergy is now at 2, which is pretty critical.
Just in case it wasn't clear that proxy base is the Gladiator.
Yeah. As I mentioned before, we pulled it up just to make that measurement, but that proxy base is the Gladiator. It just took a bunch of damage. The Gorax did nothing on its second attack, but he did really good damage on his charge.
Proxy base also, importantly, has facing lines.
It does, yeah. If your proxy bases don't have facing lines, get a Sharpie. It's really easy to do, and it makes a world of difference. Yep. So I'm just placing a proxy here to see when the Stalker charges, if he's got reach to Morghoul. So the Stalker, my goal is the Stalker is going to be mat 6 plus Primal goes to 8 plus 3 stacks of synergy goes to 11, attacking a defense 18 Morghoul over the wall. Yep. So he'll need 7s, but he can boost, and Morghoul's pretty squishy. So Kaya is going to contribute the 3rd stack of synergy. She impact attacks on her charge, which is targeting Morghoul. She kills the 2 beast handlers because the charge attack, the mount attacks on the impact are melee attacks, so they do benefit from synergy. So she's mat 8, POW 14 on the Laris attacks. And now she's going to make her cavalry charge attack, which is boosted to hit because she's a cavalry model. She's mat 8, so she needs 8s to hit you. And now she's POW 14 and does, 5 points of damage?
Yeah, just 5 on the charge attack.
Yeah, that's pretty good. She buys an attack, boosts to hit. Don't boost damage, dice minus 2.
Does 9 damage.
9 damage that time.
Morghoul on $1.
Buys boosts, hits, and kills.
Yeah, Morghoul is fragile once you get to him.
Mat 8 helps. And being Cav helps too.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm always impressed with how much personal work Kaya can do, especially at what point in the synergy chain she jumps in.
Yeah. So that last turn, what do you think I could have done differently?
Maybe killing the Stalker was the move. I mean, I talked already about the boost to hit the mortality, get the mortality off, and then the Gladiator maybe kills the Stalker instead.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe the way you spent the Fury on the Gladiator was a little suboptimal.
Right.
If the Stalker's dead, I mean, given the tools that I had available, I still killed Morghoul without using the Stalker.
Yes.
That said, if the Stalker's dead, that particular line of play is a lot riskier.
Yep.
Because I didn't expect Kaya to kill Morghoul. I expected Kaya to put a stack of synergy out and the Stalker to kill Morghoul.
For sure.
So, what are you thinking?
The other plan I had that turn was Morghoul apparates towards the Pureblood, charges, kills it with a combination of blind and a weapon master dagger, and some Arcuarii if necessary, and then is in his own zone dominating.
Yep.
And then Gladiator kind of shuffles around the Gnarlhorn, murders it, and then flood zone with beast handlers.
Okay. Are you anxious at that point that Kaya comes up, stacks synergy on a couple of beast handlers, Stalker stacks synergy on a beast handler, Gorax puts synergy up on a beast handler, and then the Pureblood warps ghostly, walks into melee with Morghoul and kills him?
The intention is the Pureblood is dead after Morghoul goes in.
So Morghoul actually goes in on the Pureblood?
Yes, Morghoul murders it himself.
Okay. That's more interesting.
Yes.
That maybe is the right line of play.
Okay.
Cool.
Because I feel like that way I'm out of anything that threatens the assassination by a long shot, And
I feel like a lot of the time what you want to do with Morghoul is carve out a protected portion of the board for yourself and then just score points in it.
yeah.
Like I've done that in 2 zones. Anyway, that's our episode for this week, guys. What do you think? Let us know. Tell us in the comments if you've got a particular caster you want to see or a new release you're excited about. Let us know. We'll try to see what we can accommodate. And I mentioned a couple of times before, but we're talking about doing a bit of a video cast series. Again, if that's something you're excited about or it's something you'd be interested in, Evan and I have been discussing possibly that being a thing that occurred on Sunday evenings.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like an HBO special type of thing, but special with Arcane Assist.
Watch Arcane Assist before you go watch Game of Thrones or Walking Dead.
Yep, that all seems like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
If you're interested in something that occurred at maybe 6 or 6:30, maybe like 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening, if that's the kind of thing you would tune in for, you would have questions for us or you'd be interested in on Twitch. I'm told Twitch is a thing.
Twitch.
Yep.
There is I have made the Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/arcane_assist.
Cool.
There's nothing there yet, but you can follow us.
Cool. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, or if you haven't already done that, please do. Also subscribe to our yet unbroadcasted Twitch channel.
Yeah.
And there may be cool things in store in the future.
All right.
Thanks a ton, guys, and see you next Monday.